Okay, so I got my bucket of wash there, and I'm going to give this guy a good clean. It's in pretty good shape. You could see the drawers are in nice shape, so I'll get that cleaned out. It's kind of dirty. And then we'll come back. Okay? Bye-bye. Okay, look at this water. Oh, gross. That's from that little stand, you guys. This dirty water is from that little stand. Ew. All right, everybody. I've got this Modge Podge. Doesn't matter if it's glossy or matte, whatever. I'm going to be using that. And this, which I'm just going to pour some glue into there. And I'm going to be using this to put together this. So I'll show you what that looks like. I like it for this piece. I think it looks quite charming and beautiful. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so we're just going to section it off. We're going to do a little bit at a time, because if you try and put all of the glue on all right away, you're going to find that you're going to come into issues. So I'm going to grab this brush. I'm going to grab one more brush, and that's going to flatten it out. One sec. Okay, so I've got another brush. I'm just going to use a brush just so that I can flatten it down. You can use saran wrap, or you can use something like that. That smooths out any kind of lines that you might get. So I want to be careful because there's ridges here, right? So I don't want to put it where the ridges, like, I need to make it so that it's just kind of lined up with the ridges. Okay, and you want to make sure that you've got more than enough glue. Otherwise, it won't be flush with your piece. In other words, you'll find that there's little bubbles, right? Between your piece, your furniture piece, and the decoupage. And if you see that, then you've got to get a needle. You've got to like pop those bubbles, and it's just messy, and it's unnerving, right? So this is a good way of making sure so that you got enough glue. You know, make sure it's not like ridiculous amount, just like the perfect amount. So now, because I've got it mapped out, I'm going to put it on. I'm putting it on like this because what I want to do is after I'll paint it. Like, it'll dry, right? It'll dry. And then afterwards, what I can do is I can paint it. So I'm just pulling it up a bit. It's got a little bit of wetness to it. And then I'm putting it back on. This will make sure that the creases are as well not there. So if you want to lift it a little bit, make sure that your decoupage is strong. This is a strong decoupage. And then put it back down. So you can do that. If you just go very softly, that's all the pressure you need. Okay, I'm going to do this. You can see how flat that is and how good that looks. I'm going to continue doing this and go from there. And I'll be back. Okay, so I've got this on, but look what happened. Now, you know how I washed this before? I know I didn't leave it to dry for very long. And so I think I've got like some wetness coming through. But you know what? I'm going to make it work because I like to think that there are no mistakes, only unique creations. And I got that quote from Solly Joe. I think her name is Solly Joe, and she's like out of the UK. and she does like Posh Chalk. She does Would You Bend. She's like a spokesperson for Would You Bend, and she's got her own studio. Anyways, so even though it looks like this, right, I'm going to work with it. And what I'm going to do is, because it's pretty much almost dried, I'm just going to rip these pieces off all the way around. I'm going to rip these pieces off all the way around, and then I'll get back to you. Okay? All right. All right. So I've got this cleaned up a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around with a Modge Podge, and I'm just going to make sure that this is all down and sealed. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a clear coat on top of this. I'm going to use a water-based clear coat on top of this piece. That will seal it as well. The Modge Podge glued it down. I can use Modge Podge to seal it, but I can also use a clear coat of paint. You can see there's some edges here. I'm just going to go back in with a bit of glue, and I'm just going to glue that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the whole piece like this and just glue these pieces down so they're not going to be protruding. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some paint, and I'm going to bring some paint in, and I'm going to just kind of blend the paint onto this decoupage. Okay, so you can see I've got some pieces that are sticking out a little bit there and a little bit here, but I can glue them down, like pick them up a little bit and then glue them down so that they stay. And then I'll show you the next process after that. And just any tapered pieces, I'm just going to go in with my Modge Podge. I'm just going to go back in with a Modge Podge, and I'm just going to taper these pieces down. I just want them to stay down so that whoever buys this piece isn't going to be worried about edges coming up, like doesn't even notice them actually. So, I mean, the paint that I'm going to go over with, it will work. We'll figure it out. Okay, stay tuned, friends. All right, so I've got some Dixie Belles. Can you see that? Hold on here. Big Momma's butter. Maybe I'll put it there. Ah, yeah. Big Momma's butter, and fresh and clean. And I got my brush, and I'm just going to put my brush in there, and I'm going to put some wax on this piece because it's not sliding as smoothly as I'd like it to. So I'm just going to wax it up, and then I'm going to just wipe off any excess, and hopefully it'll be sliding so smoothly. All right, so I'm going in with this black paint. This is just the Caviar by Dixie Belle. I'm going to go in with some black paint. I'm going to do just a little bit of a lighter coat on this first coat and just blend it lightly into the decoupage, as you can see. And I believe that just if you take your time with it, don't go crazy with it, make sure your brush is a little bit drier, and you just go in. But I like that look. I think it's starting to come along, and you can't really see the edges. Okay. First coat. So here we have, it's on. I've finished it. It's black. This is the first coat, and I'm going to go in with some top coat now. This is General Finishes water-based top coat, and it's actually really a great product. And I've got it on my roller I've tried it for the first time, and I actually really like it. I've been using Dixie Belles Satin top coat. Roll it on. I like to say Satin. I don't have a whole bunch on and here, I've just been using that, and that one is really good. But this one is really light, so I really like this top coat. I'm going over the decoupage with the top coat and my roller brush, and it's actually looking quite good. just
and I find that it should work just fine. But I'm going to top coat this piece quite a few times, probably 4 times
anyways,
at least.
So I'm just rolling this on. You can see some of the decoupage.
But it is working. It's solid. There wasn't any bubbles. I took my time with the decoupage. You just have to really watch when you're putting them on if you haven't done it for the first time.
So this top coat is just going to be
exactly what I'm talking about.
And then I might come in with a dryer and just dry this so that so that it sticks. And roll
this
back
is just
over
one
top.
single piece
So
too.
There's one.
I find that usually it's nicer to have two, like a set. However, people do buy these. They will buy just one side table. You can see that I've got the the Dixie Belle top coat satin, and I'm gonna do some top coating with this as well. I'm using both because one's a little bit thicker and you can see the difference, right? This one is going on and it looks, you can see the coloring of it, whereas the other one you couldn't see the coloring of it, and that makes no difference. This is fine. It'll dry. It'll be good.
I've got some turquoise paint. I've got some, this one, it looks like a rust kind of color. It's, which one is this? I'll find out the name and I'll put it in leather bound. It's called leather bound. Then I've got some fusion. This one's called Fort York Red. And then I've got this one, which is, this one's called, I always have a issue trying to find the name for these guys. Well, I'll find the name for it, but it's like an orange. It's like a little bit of a darker orange color. And, oh, here we go. Pumpkin spice. And then I've got this Goldfinger, which I bought off Amazon. This has like it looks a little bit like copper. So I was thinking I might use that, or I've got copper wax. Okay. Then I've got just some brushes, because what I want to do to this is just make it look a little bit distressed with all the different colors. So I'm just going to do my thing and see where the universe takes me.